this is my office. This is where I work. My drawing table's over here. Drawing table's 8 feet by, I think, 3 feet, and that's where I sketch. That's
So
where
I see the one of one C7 it's parked inside of the office.
Yes.
Okay, and what's behind you? Is that?
That's a 57, a very rare 57 Corvette.
Wow.
And because of, they only made a few of them that were fuelies, and very few of them were 4-speeds. And silver wasn't even in the brochure. They just decided to build about 50 silver cars near the end of the model year, and I've got one.
Of course. So you've got two Corvettes from different eras in basically the same trim. A
Yes.
silverish exterior and a red interior, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So how have you been, man? Catch us up. I mean, it's been a few months, several months since we spoke. We saw that you received the Car Design Reviews Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations.
Yes, yeah, that was a great experience in London, and everybody from car design, mainly from Europe and Asia, were there. Some from the States, but mainly Europe and Asia. All the brands were there.
Wow.
And in a way, it's kind of a homecoming because it's kind of surprising how many people who had worked for me are now leading design houses around the world.
Wow.
And it's kind of cool, from Porsche to Bentley to Ford and on and on. The chief designers used to work for me.
You know what's interesting? Now that you say that, right? This is not going to be an interview, I promise, right? Like, we're just gonna kind of recap. But you just said something that's so interesting, and me just being critical of myself. I'm thinking back on our interview, and that's so amazing because without having watched it recently, I think we spoke so much about your impact just on automotive design. And the vehicles that got produced and how amazing those were. But I don't know if we touched on how your leadership has now touched so many lives, and there's so many individuals who are now running these design for these large manufacturers. How amazing is that, man? How's that feel?
It feels great. It does. I mean, and it's fairly recently that it's really kind of hit me that that these guys, they joke about being disciples, and they're at these different design houses, in Korea, Japan, Germany, here in the States. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. So as you reflect on your experience with Wheels and Wealth, I remember that I was caught off guard, and I remember being up all night, just getting prepped to do your interview. I always kid because when BK said he was bringing his friend who had designed the Corvette, I didn't know we were doing an interview. When I thought about it, I didn't. I'm thinking maybe somebody who was on the team that helped assemble something, or
Sure.
I'm not thinking the VP of Global Design for GM. And looking back on that has just been a surreal experience, and it's fitting that you'd be our season finale. So I know for us, being a brand new show, a brand new podcast, having someone of your status coming on, willingly and just openly and doing our show was absolutely surreal for us. But how was it for you?
Well, it's interesting as you speak. I had kind of a similar experience because BK didn't fill me in a lot on what this all was,
Right.
and what he did tell me, he told me very quickly. But I said, okay, sure, hopped in the vet and went, and I got there, and the place is so cool, and you were so well prepared, and I enjoyed just sitting back in the corner in the dark and listening to your interview.
Wow.
BK, and the prep that you went to. and I thought the set really looked good. You know, I have, in all the design work that I've done, you know, you present the cars and how you present it and the environment that you create, whether it's at an auto show or a special event or in the design studio when the management comes in to review the design. And so I'm sensitive to that. And I saw the way your set was done, and I really was impressed, even more so when I watched the actual show.
Wow.
Man, the lighting and the lights in the dark. It's not too light, not too dark. You know, yes.
Even,
Yeah.
you know, even now for me, I'll routinely go on YouTube and check some things out. And you know, when I pull you up on YouTube, one of the first things that comes up is you doing Leno's Garage and introducing the C7 Corvette when it first came out. And for me, I'm like, man, we had that guy on our show. That's insane. It's crazy, you know.
It's funny. I did several Leno's Garage years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the first ones was when he introduced the EcoJet at SEMA. And the thing that's so funny, we had worked with him on the design of EcoJet, that jet powered car of his. And you know, here's Jay Leno, big time Jay Leno, you know, when it comes to showbiz and all, you know, he's the man.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to SEMA and he has no plan for how he's going to introduce it. He has no plan at all, didn't know what to do. And he's asking me, you know, what should we do? How should we introduce it? You know, I said, well, you know, I bet if the word got out that Jay Leno and Ed Welburn were introducing something interesting,
Yeah.
poolside at the Wynn, everybody show up.
That
You
sounds
know,
like
and that's all we had to say. And the word got out. It was crazy. The people who showed up. There was ZZ Top there, and all these, you know, these other people. I mean, the crowd was really huge, and he was stunned by it. And you know, we did the introduction of the car, and it was very cool.
awesome.
There was one episode where he couldn't get off from work, so I just did it without him. But you know, on the most part, he's the lead, and I'm just kind of like his, you know, sidekick on the ones that I did with him.
Man, they were phenomenal. And again, you know, to look back on it and look at just, you know, as newly minted Wills and Wealth show producers and taking,
Yes.
you know, taking part in this project for us, it's been an incredible ride. And again, just we want to thank you for, you know, even considering coming on board and doing the interview with us. Now, with that in mind, you kept talking about how, or you just spoke about how excited you were to watch BK's episode and how thrilling that was. Are you looking forward to seeing your own? Because you haven't, to my knowledge, he hasn't seen the.
No, I haven't seen anything, and I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it, but
Nah.
only a little. Only a
No,
little.
man, you were so smooth on that episode that it wasn't even funny. I think I was the most nervous, to be quite honest with you. So for folks that are apprehensive to come on our show, for folks that might be apprehensive to do an interview, whether they are from the automotive industry or, you know, whether there are what we've been kind of focused on, sourcing guests that are everyday business owners, everyday entrepreneurs, or everyday what we call entrepreneurs, the successful employee that is pushing somebody else's company forward, but doing quite well for themselves in the process. For those folks that might be apprehensive about coming on our show, what would you say to them, speaking about your personal experience, especially, you know, coming from where you're coming from? And for those folks who might even get to watch your episode or who might see this background footage that we're doing right now, you know, Ed Welburn is is an automotive. He's in the Automotive Hall of Fame. He is the 6th person in his position in the history of GM and the first to be the VP or appointed VP of global design, overseeing all you know, design departments globally for General Motors, having really had his hand in and really I'd say spearheaded the creation of really all modern GM design that we're seeing on the roads today, from the Camaro to the Escalades to obviously, you know, the C8 Corvette that we have right now, and so much more. I'm probably doing you a disservice
And the Beast. Don't forget the Beast.
And the Beast, the presidential limo, right? Having worked on the Cadillac CL, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
And so many more. But coming from your position and having experienced the guest chair on Wheels and Wealth, what would you say to the folks that are out there, again, whether they're coming from your status or whether they're the everyday person that we're looking to source as the guest, that are apprehensive about coming on board? What would you say to them?
First, I have to say, you know, I've done. It was such a pleasure. I enjoyed it so much. The team is so professional in everything they did. The timing, you know, the respect that they have for their guests is a big deal. I mean, it's so obvious to me, the respect that you have for your guests, the respect that you have for yourselves, the presentation, how it's all presented, the research, the homework that you do. You know, I've done interviews all over the world. I mean, really, all over the world. And there are so many different levels of preparation. You know, there are those who really do their homework. There are those who have great sets, or those that have no set. There are those who aren't prepared at all. And that's true not only in broadcast, but in life. Mm. And you guys are prepared, number one. Prepared, professional, on point. I left there feeling so good. Not necessarily about, you know, what I said or what I did in the interview, but feeling so good about what you guys do. And I believe, based on what I've seen of your show, that anyone who's on there will probably want to use their interview over and over again as almost like their calling card.
Wow. Wow. Wow, incredible. So Ed, I gotta tell you, man, we're hoping to reconnect with you in the future, right?
Yes,
Possibly this year. We've got some secret projects that we're working on. And we're hoping to have you take part in that. So a couple of little potential surprises along the way. And I definitely got to take you up on that invitation coming up to the hometown and maxing and relaxing and chilling out. But with that said, I know you're a busy fellow. So look out for your episode, I believe, coming out this weekend, correct? Awesome. Excellent. And it's going to be a blast. For anybody that's watching, if you're not already following Wheels and Wealth, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. That's Wheels and Wealth. You can follow all our socials on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Wheels and Wealth. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And be sure to tune in this weekend when we drop our season finale with the amazing, incredible, I mean, just this guy, his track record speaks for himself. And I still can't believe that we had him on to close out our season. Ed Welburn, thanks for joining us this morning.
Okay. My pleasure. Great seeing you.